So a 32-year-old female presents to the clinic with complaints of fatigue, pallor and exertional dyspnea for the past 3 months. She also reports brittle nails and difficulty concentrating. Her dietary history reveals a preference for a vegetarian diet with minimal consumption of iron-rich foods. And lab investigations are as follows. Hemoglobin 9.2 gram per deciliter and the normal is 12 to 15 gram per deciliter, and the mean corpuscular volume 72 fetoliter, normal is 80 to 100, and serum ferritin 8 nanogram per ml, normal is 30 to 300. The serum iron 13 microgram per deciliter, normal is 50 to 170, and the total iron binding capacity is 450 microgram per deciliter, normal 250 to 450, transparent saturation 7%. What is the diagnosis? Total iron binding capacity? How much है?
Normal.
Increased. Iron deficiency, in iron deficiency anemia, TIBC is increased. Rest all are decreased except TIBC. And this is by the lab findings. And by the history, how to diagnose? The low consumption of iron-rich food, he is on vegetarian diet. So explain the biochemical role of iron in human physiology. So iron plays a crucial biochemical role in several physiological processes. One is hemoglobin and myoglobin synthesis. Then iron is an essential component of the heme prosthetic group which binds oxygen for transport and storage. Second is ETC. Iron is a K element in cytochromes like cytochrome C within the mitochondria, essential for ATP production. Third one is enzyme function, as iron serves as a cofactor for enzymes such as catalase, which is antioxidant defense, and peroxidase and ribonucleotide reductase in DNA synthesis. And fourth one is iron sulfur cluster, which participate in redox reactions and electron transfer within metabolic pathways. So these are the biochemical roles of iron in human physiology: hemoglobin and myoglobin synthesis, in ETC, in enzyme function, and iron sulfur clusters. And regulation. The iron absorption and regulation involve a complex interplay of proteins. Number one is dietary iron forms. The heme iron from animal sources is absorbed efficiently via heme carrier protein 1, while the non-heme iron from plant sources requires reduction. Second is reduction and transport. The ferric iron is reduced to ferrous iron by duodenal cytochrome B and transported into enterocytes via divalent metal transporter DMT1. The storage and export. The iron is stored as ferritin or exported via ferroportin, which is regulated by hepcidin into circulation. Fourth one is plasma transport. Then the iron binds to transferrin, which delivers it to cells expressing transferrin receptors. Receptor 1 and 2 for uptake. Then hepcidin produced by the liver is the K regulatory hormone that degrades ferroportin, thereby reducing iron export and absorption. Which is more absorbable, that ferric or ferrous? Which form? Ferrous. Yes. The role of ferroportin is like helps in increasing iron or decreasing iron. Ferroportin. In the third point, the iron is stored as ferritin or exported via ferroportin. So, if the ferroportin is increased, so the iron transport is also increased, so the iron will be increased. But that contradictory hepcidin produced by the liver is the K regulatory hormone that degrades ferroportin. So if the hepcidin secretion is more, then ferroportin, the transport of ferroportin is less. So iron will be less. No? This is the reversal relation. We advise to take vitamin C along with iron. Why? Ferric to ferrous. Ferric to ferrous. So it converts the ferric form to ferrous form for better absorption. That's why we advise in prescription also with that iron tablet. Now we advise vitamin C or to take vitamin C that food. Explain the biochemical basis of the lab findings in this patient. So low hemoglobin and MCV, that microcytic hypochromic anemia. The inadequate iron supply impairs hemoglobin synthesis, leading to smaller pale RBCs. And the low serum ferritin, the decreased ferritin reflects depleted iron stores, and low serum iron and transferrin saturation. This indicates reduced circulating iron availability and increased TIBC, total iron binding capacity. The TIBC, the liver increases transferrin synthesis to enhance iron binding capacity in response to iron deficiency. So why increase TIBC? To compensate the deficiency. No. The liver increases the transferrin synthesis to compensate the deficiency, the iron deficiency. That's why in iron deficiency the TIBC is increased. All other parameters are decreased except TIBC. So what is the significance of hepcidin in iron deficiency anemia? The hepcidin is a peptide hormone that regulates systemic iron homeostasis. The low hepcidin levels in iron deficiency, hepcidin synthesis decreased, leading to increased ferroportin activity, promoting iron absorption and release from stores. So in iron deficiency, the hepcidin level will be high. That reversal relation, na? So low hepcidin promotes more iron absorption because of that increased ferroportin activity, na? And in high hepcidin levels, like in chronic inflammation, leads to ferroportin degradation, iron sequestration, and functional iron deficiency. So high hepcidin levels cause the low that leads to iron deficiency. High hepcidin level causes ferroportin degradation and leads to iron deficiency. So in iron deficiency anemia, decreased hepcidin allows enhanced iron mobilization to compensate for the deficiency. Chronic inflammation, like any idea? Chronic inflammation কোনগুলো হয়? Yes, that any inflammatory, like the inflammatory bowel disease, so like chronic inflammation. So why does iron deficiency lead to oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction? And the iron is a critical component of cytochromes and iron sulfur clusters in the ETC. In iron deficiency impairs ATP production, leading to mitochondrial dysfunction, and iron dependent enzymes like catalase and peroxidases are compromised, increasing susceptibility to reactive oxygen species damage. And the Fenton reaction is disrupted, affecting oxidative stress balance. So what is the Fenton reaction? The reaction, what is the reaction? पर ना ये क्या है? Ferrous iron plus hydrogen peroxide to ferric iron plus hydroxyl iron plus hydroxyl radical. That dot mark is there for the radical, representing radical. So ferrous plus hydrogen peroxide to ferric plus hydroxyl iron plus hydroxyl radical. This is the very important reaction is Fenton reaction. So the Fenton reaction is disrupted, affecting oxidative stress balance. How does iron deficiency affect neurotransmitter synthesis and cognitive functions? So iron is essential for the activity of tyrosine hydroxylase and tryptophan hydroxylase, which synthesize dopamine and serotonin respectively. So the deficiency leads to impaired neurotransmission affecting memory, concentration and mood regulation. এটা তো বললি তো টাইরোসিন এন্ড ট্রিপ্টোফ্যান মেটাবলিজমে তো পড়া হলো না. So what are the biochemical principles behind iron supplementation therapy? So ferrous versus ferric forms. The ferrous is better absorbed due to its solubility and transport in via divalent metal transporter 1 DMT1 via divalent metal transporter 1. And next is vitamin C. The ascorbic acid enhanced non-heme iron absorption by reducing ferric to ferrous and forming soluble iron ascorbate complexes. Third one is avoidance of inhibitors. That phytates present in cereals, tannins in tea and calcium impair iron absorption. So never advise that in prescription iron and calcium together. The calcium inhibits iron absorption. You can advise but in 2 times. Like if someone is taking iron in morning, you advise calcium in evening at night. And other inhibitors are the phytates and tannin. So আমরা যারা খুব শখ করে চা খাই ওদের iron absorption কম হয়. The tannin present in tea inhibits iron absorption. With complaints of fatigue, a 45-year-old male presents to the clinic with complaints of fatigue, joint pain and darkening of the skin. His past medical history is significant for diabetes mellitus and cardiomyopathy. The laboratory investigations reveal the serum ferritin 2500 nanogram per ml, serum iron 250 microgram per deciliter, TIBC 180 microgram per deciliter, the transferrin saturation 85%, liver function test mildly elevated AST and ALT, the genetic testing homozygous for the C28-Y mutation in the homeostatic iron receptor gene, HFE gene. The liver biopsy shows iron deposition in hepatocytes with an increased hepatic iron index. Cardiac MRI demonstrates myocardial iron overload. What is the diagnosis? Lab finding কি suggest করছে? Lab finding is suggestive of কি কম কি বেশি আছে দেখ না. What is increased, what is decreased? TIBC decreased. Rest all are increased. So, reversal situation na. Hereditary hemochromatosis. So, what is the mainly ki to iron overload, iron toxicity. The TIBC is decreased. Rest everything is increased. So, what is the biochemical basis of iron overload in hereditary hemochromatosis? So iron overload in hereditary hemochromatosis. The hereditary hemochromatosis is caused by mutation in the hemostatic iron receptor gene which disrupts iron hemostasis. The normally HFE protein regulates hepcidin, a K iron regulating hormone. So hepcidin, what is the role of hepcidin? If the high hepcidin level means iron is low. So there is defect in that gene which regulates hepcidin. So HFE protein regulates hepcidin. So if there is defect in that gene, so it cannot regulate hepcidin. For that, so hepcidin is not working properly. For that, there is the high amount of iron. Now, so that HFE gene. So this is the hereditary hemochromatosis is caused by the defect in HFE gene, which regulates hepcidin. So because of that defect, it cannot regulate ferroportin, the transportation. That's why there is iron overload because of the defect in hepcidin. Defect in HFE gene which regulates hepcidin. So HFE gene তো ডিফেক্ট যেটা তোর হেপসিডিন রেগুলেট করে, আর হেপসিডিন যদি রেগুলেট না হয় তাহলে হেপসিডিন তোর সেই রিভার্সাল ফাংশনটা হচ্ছে না তোর ফেরোপোর্টিনের সাথে। সো দ্যাটস ওয়াই দেয়ার ইজ, তো যদি তোর হেপসিডিন রেগুলেশন যদি ফাংশনাল বেশি থাকে তাহলে তোর আয়রন ডেফিসিয়েন্সি হবে, তো যদি নন ফাংশনাল হয় তাহলে আয়রন ওভারলোড হবে। So HFE mutations reduce hepcidin expression leading to uncontrolled ferroportin activity. So ferroportin remains open, increasing iron absorption from enterocytes in the duodenum. So excess iron accumulates in the liver, heart, pancreas and joints, causing oxidative damage via Fenton reaction. The reason of that iron, why iron overload in hereditary hemochromatosis. So this is the what is the biochemical reason. There are like physiological reason, anything that what is the biochemical basis, the biochemical point of view of this disease. So what is the role of hepcidin in iron metabolism and how is it dysregulated in iron overload? So hepcidin is a negative regulator in iron absorption and release. So it binds ferroportin on enterocytes and macrophages, inducing its degradation. So inhibits dietary iron absorption and prevents iron release from macrophages. এতক্ষণ আমরা যেটা বললাম ওটাই, হ্যাঁ। So in hereditary hemochromatosis, hepcidin is inappropriately low, leading to uncontrolled iron efflux into circulation. To explain the biochemical consequences of iron overload at the cellular level, that excess iron contributes to Fenton reaction, and the second one is lipid peroxidation, the membrane damage leading to cellular injury, then protein oxidation, enzyme dysfunction and structural damage, and in DNA damage, increased risk of hepatocellular carcinoma. Low iron absorption. Promoting low iron absorption. এখানে লেখাটা একটু ভুল আছে, রিঅ্যাকশনটা একটাই, দ্যাট ferrous iron plus hydrogen peroxide to ferric iron plus the hydroxyl ion with the hydroxyl radical. So Fenton reaction, lipid peroxidation, the protein oxidation and DNA damage. The organ most affected including the liver, cirrhosis, hepatocellular carcinoma. The effect in heart is cardiomegaly. The pancreas, affecting pancreas is diabetes, and in joints this is arthropathy, the diseases of joint, arthropathy. So in the presenting history, the patient have diabetes mellitus, patient have cardiomyopathy, and the patient have that darkening of skin. Why? So what is the diagnosing point in the history, the given case? One is by lab finding, iron overload. Why? Because of hereditary hemochromatosis. So first see if there is iron overload. So how to diagnose that iron overload? To accept TIBC, because there is no need to compensate, na. So no need to that more synthesis of transferrin. So that's why there is less TIBC. The binding capacity is less. Except this parameter, everything is increased. The iron is increased, serum ferritin is increased, everything increased. That's why iron overload. And by that clinical history, so the patient have diabetic, darkening skin, and that cardiac diseases, the joint pain. So that represents that iron overload. মনে থাকবে পয়েন্টগুলো. So why does iron overload leads to bronze diabetes? The iron deposition in the pancreas damaged beta cells, impairing insulin secretion. So combined with insulin resistance from liver dysfunction, this leads to diabetes mellitus. The term bronze diabetes refers to the combination of hyperpigmentation due to melanin and homosiderin deposition and diabetes mellitus from pancreatic iron toxicity. So this is called as that leads to bronze diabetes. The bronze is because of melanin and homosiderin deposition, the hyperpigmentation, and diabetes is caused by the iron toxicity. So what biochemical markers differentiate iron overload from other anemias? So এটা তো জানাই that scenario, what will be the presentation. In iron overload, serum iron increased, TIBC decreased, and rest everything are transferrin saturation, serum ferritin increased, then hepcidin is decreased in iron overload. Decreased hepcidin, increased ferroportin activity. In iron deficiency, that everything is decreased, TIBC is increased, and increased hepcidin activity. So the decreased ferroportin activity. In anemia of chronic disease, the serum iron may be decreased or normal, the TIBC is decreased, the transferrin saturation is normal or may be decreased, the serum ferritin is increased, and hepcidin is increased. The increased hepcidin in chronic diseases. Strategies for iron overload and how do they work biochemically? One is phlebotomy, removes iron containing RBCs, promoting iron mobilization that stimulates hepcidin production, reducing further absorption. The second one is iron chelation therapy by deferoxamine or by deferasirox. Then binds free iron, preventing Fenton reaction and oxidative damage, facilitates iron excretion via urine and feces. Third one, by dietary modifications to avoid iron-rich foods like red meat or fortified cereals, and to avoid vitamin C, which enhanced iron absorption. So by three methods, one by phlebotomy, second by the iron chelation therapy, and third is by the dietary modifications. So what are the what is chelating agent? To remove that toxic particles from the body, like in lead, iron, any toxicity, na? So why is transferrin saturation a more specific marker than serum ferritin in diagnosing hereditary hemochromatosis? The serum ferritin is an acute phase reactant and increase in infections, inflammations, and malignancy. The transferrin saturation directly reflects increased iron absorption and is less influenced by inflammation. So by inflammation, the parameter may change for serum ferritin, but there is less chances of changes in transferrin saturation. So transferrin saturation is more specific marker than serum ferritin in diagnosing hereditary hemochromatosis. How does iron overload contribute to hepatocellular carcinoma? The iron overload promotes hepatocellular carcinoma through oxidative stress via Fenton reaction, which causes to DNA damage and mutations and chronic inflammation, the activation of fibrogenic and oncogenic pathways, and inhibition of P53, the impaired tumor suppression. So, by these three, the iron overload promotes hepatocellular carcinoma, the oxidative stress, chronic inflammation, and inhibition of P53. A 22-year-old male presents to the neurology clinic with complaints of progressive tremor, slurred speech, and personality changes over the past 6 months. His family reports that he has become more irritable and has difficulty concentrating, and he also mentions intermittent abdominal discomfort. On examination, neurological findings are dystonia, dysarthria, and resting tremors. Ophthalmological findings are presence of golden brown ring at the limbus of the cornea. Hepatic findings, the mild hepatomegaly detected on palpation. The lab findings are serum ceruloplasmin 8 mg per deciliter. The normal is 20 to 35, and serum copper 45 microgram per deciliter. 24-hour urinary copper excretion is 150 microgram per day, and the liver biopsy is markedly elevated hepatic copper content. What is the diagnosis? And these are the classical neurological findings: the dystonia, dysarthria, and the resting tremors. What is tremor? The involuntary movement. And what is dysarthria? The same. The slurred speech and dysarthria is same. The difficulty in speaking. The dysarthria. And the dystonia, the tone, that muscle tone. So that one point is that classical neurological signs, the symptoms, that dystonia, dysarthria, and resting tremors. Then ophthalmological finding is that golden brown ring at the limbus. What is limbus? At the limbus of the cornea. The border between that cornea and sclera. This is the limbus. So, that low ceruloplasmin, low copper, and the excretion, in urinary excretion. So, this is suggestive of Wilson disease. So, what is the underlying biochemical defect in Wilson's disease? The Wilson disease is caused by the mutation in the ATP7B gene, which encodes a P-type ATPase involved in hepatic copper transport. The mutation leads to defective incorporation of copper into ceruloplasmin and impaired biliary excretion of copper, resulting in toxic accumulation in the liver and other organs, especially in the brain and cornea. So, what is the role of ceruloplasmin in copper metabolism, and why is it decreased in Wilson disease? So, ceruloplasmin is a copper carrying protein synthesized in the liver. It helps transport copper in circulation. In Wilson's disease, defect in ATP7B function leads to impaired loading of copper into ceruloplasmin, causing both low ceruloplasmin levels and free copper accumulation. So, additionally, ceruloplasmin is degraded faster in the absence of copper incorporation. So, what is the defective gene here? ATP7B, and ATP7A cause Defect in ATP7A. Which disease? This is 7B. What is 7A? The disease because of defect in ATP7A. So explain the pathophysiology of hepatic and neurological manifestations in Wilson's disease. So তোরা অনেকের কনফিউশন থাকে ম্যাম হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ক্লিনিক্যাল ম্যানিফেস্টেশন, তো কোশ্চেনে যেমন থাকে লাইক এক্সপ্লেন দ্য ক্লিনিক্যাল ম্যানিফেস্টেশন the with that presenting patient. So clinical manifestation মানে that signs and symptoms by which the patient presents. So the hepatic and neurological manifestations in Wilson disease. The hepatic presentations are the excess copper accumulates in the hepatocytes causing oxidative stress via the Fenton reaction leading to lipid peroxidation, mitochondrial dysfunction and hepatocellular apoptosis. That chronic toxicity results in cirrhosis of liver. And the neurological manifestations, the free copper crosses the blood-brain barrier, preferentially accumulating in the basal ganglia, leading to neurological damage, neurotransmitter imbalances, and the movement disorders such as tremor, dysarthria, and dystonia. So these are the hepatic and neurological manifestation. In hepatic, the chronic toxicity causes the cirrhosis, and in neurological, by crossing the blood-brain barrier, they ultimately cause the tremor, dystonia, and dysarthria. Copper is low or normal due to decreased ceruloplasmin-bound copper, and 24-hour urinary copper excretion is elevated, the more than 100 microgram per day, and often more than 200 microgram per day in symptomatic cases. What is symptomatic case? What do you understand by symptomatic case? Yes. So, like the diseases are like divided in symptomatic and asymptomatic. One is asymptomatic, like there is no symptom, like the patient is maybe almost time that accidentally diagnosed, and symptomatic are the patient presented with symptoms, so having difficulty that thing. This is the symptomatic cases, the symptomatic patient, like in cholecystitis. In cholecystitis, like calcular, there is two types, the calcular and acalcular. That normally সাধারণ মানুষ যেটা বলে that gallbladder stone, that this is calcular, that stone is they having stone. So because of that stone there is inflammation of gallbladder. So that calcular or acalcular, because of the other reason, any infection for that, there is cholecystitis, that is acalcular cholecystitis. So most of the cases of cholecystitis, in general language, that gallbladder stone, most of the patient is asymptomatic. Almost patient, they don't know they have gallbladder stone, cholecystitis. So they are accidentally diagnosed, like decreased appetite or any other reason you have undergone for USG, that they diagnosed with cholecystitis. So this is in the more than 200 microgram per day in symptomatic cases. In asymptomatic cases is that it is generally more than 100 microgram per day. Then hepatic copper quantification, the gold standard method is more than 250 microgram per gram dry weight. More than 250 microgram per gram dry weight. What do you understand by dry weight? Per gram dry weight means hepatic copper quantification is more than 250 microgram per gram dry weight. What do you mean by that? কিভাবে মেজার করে in dry weight unit? In dry liver tissue. So per gram of dry liver tissue, if they contain more than 250 microgram of copper, so the dry weight of liver tissue. Then slit lamp examination is Kaiser-Fleischer rings, that corneal copper deposition. And how does penicillamine work in treating Wilson disease, and what are its biochemical effects? So how does penicillamine work? The penicillamine is a copper chelating agent that binds free copper, forming a complex excreted in urine. This reduces the copper toxicity in tissues. So biochemically, it increases urinary copper excretion and helps lower hepatic copper stores. So this is the function of chelating agent. So penicillamine acts as a copper chelating agent by excreting copper via urine. So the gold standard test to diagnose Wilson disease is hepatic copper quantification, which is more than 250 microgram per gram dry weight. And penicillamine acts as the copper chelating agent. How does zinc therapy help in Wilson's disease? The zinc induces metallothionein in enterocytes, which preferentially binds copper and prevents its absorption. The bound copper is then lost via enterocyte turnover, reducing systemic copper levels. Then why does Wilson's disease not cause anemia despite copper accumulation, unlike Menkes disease? What is Menkes disease? So this is the disease caused by the defected ATP7A gene. Menkes disease. So Wilson's disease causes systemic copper overload. And in Menkes disease, there is copper deficiency. Whereas Menkes disease results in systemic copper deficiency due to defective intestinal absorption. So Wilson's disease is because of the defect in ATP7B and ATP7A causes Menkes disease. Wilson's disease causes copper overload and Menkes disease causes copper deficiency. So copper is essential for peroxidase activity of ceruloplasmin, which facilitates iron mobilization. In Menkes disease, ceruloplasmin activity is impaired, leading to iron trapping in tissues and anemia, whereas in Wilson's disease, this function is not significantly disrupted. So why there is no anemia in Wilson's? Why? Why in Menkes? Why not in Wilson? Because in Menkes there is copper deficiency, which is essential for peroxidase activity. So there is deficiency of copper. So there is the less of the peroxidase activity of ceruloplasmin, which causes anemia. But in Wilson's there is copper overload. So there is no anemia. What are the genetic inheritance and molecular diagnostic approaches for Wilson's disease? The Wilson disease follows an autosomal recessive inheritance pattern due to mutations in the ATP7B gene on chromosome 13q14.3. The molecular diagnosis includes the gene sequencing of ATP7B to detect pathogenic mutations, and haplotype analysis for carrier screening in families. What is haplotype analysis? So the DNA analysis which runs in the same chromosome, the one family history, na, the haplotype analysis for carrier screening in families. Why do neurological symptoms worsen initially with chelating therapy? So the chelation therapy rapidly mobilized hepatic copper into circulation, leading to transient spikes in free copper levels, which can exacerbate neurotoxicity. This term paradoxical worsening and is more common with penicillamine than zinc. So what is paradoxical worsening? The paradoxical pattern is, the first is it's more deteriorating, then it's improving. So because of the spikes in free copper levels, it's exacerbate. Like it's more worsen the situation, more worsen the toxicity. So this is termed as paradoxical worsening. Then what are the long-term biochemical monitoring parameters for patients on treatment? The 24-hour urinary copper excision to assess copper chelating efficacy, and the serum free copper, non-cellular plasmin bound copper, and the by liver function test to monitor hepatic status, and neurological assessment to track disease progression or improvement. A 42-year-old male patient presents to the outpatient clinic with a non-healing ulcer on his left lower leg. The ulcer developed after a minor trauma 3 months ago and has shown minimal improvement despite proper wound care. The patient has a history of gastric bypass surgery for obesity 5 years ago and follows a restrictive diet. He also reports frequent episodes of fatigue, brittle hair, and occasional joint pain. On examination, the wounds appear atrophic with a pale granulation base. The surrounding skin shows mild erythema but no signs of active infection. The lab investigations reveal the hemoglobin 10.2 gram per deciliter, which is normocytic normochromic, and the serum copper is 50 microgram per deciliter. The serum cellular plasmin is 12 milligram per deciliter. The serum zinc 130 microgram per deciliter. Serum iron is normal and WBC count is normal. So what is the case? So what is the history? So there is deficiency of copper. Why? What is the reason of deficiency? Is it mentioned here? The diet. The point is the patient undergone that bypass surgery for obesity. So what is? শুনেছিস তো না that surgery করে for that bypass. What is the bypass surgery? What is the procedure? What happened in bypass surgery? See, first they staple one portion of stomach to reduce the size of stomach, to decrease the intake capacity of stomach, to decrease your appetite. This is the first part. Then second part, they resect one portion of small intestine where the almost that nutrient absorbed. See, if there is no absorption, there is no weight gain, nothing. So there is chances of that deficiency of that nutrients, that iron, anything, that whatever is absorbed via that, the most of the nutrients absorbed in the small intestine, in the iliac part or in the jejunum, that part. So the patient have history of gastric bypass surgery. So this is the cause why the copper is not that proper absorption is not happening in this case. The reason of deficiency of copper. So because of that copper deficiency, there is poor wound healing. So what is the most likely biochemical cause of the patient's delayed wound? What is the most likely biochemical cause of the patient's delayed wound healing? The patient's delayed wound healing is likely due to copper deficiency as evidenced by low serum copper and ceruloplasmin levels. The copper is essential for collagen cross-linking angiogenesis and fibroblast function, the CREG-K processes in wound healing. So because of the copper deficiency, there is delayed wound healing. That which enzyme involved in wound healing is primarily affected by copper deficiency? That lysyl oxidase, a copper dependent enzyme, is primarily affected. So this enzyme catalyzes the oxidative deamination of lysine and hydroxylysine residues in collagen and elastin, facilitating the cross-linking and stabilization of the extracellular matrix. So the impairment of this enzyme leads to defective collagen synthesis, contributing to poor wound healing. The lysyl oxidase, the copper dependent enzyme. So because of the copper deficiency, there is defective collagen synthesis, contributing to poor wound healing. For the Wilson disease, there are mentioned some that symptoms, but in this case, among kichu provided na. The same also for the Menkes also, there are some neurological changes. So they had to mention that point for that mutation of gene and for that neurological part. So this is that simple copper deficiency. যদি মেনকিস হতো তাহলে ওখানে নিউরোলজিক্যাল কিছু লেখা থাকতো দ্যাট পেশেন্ট প্রেজেন্টেড উইথ দ্যাট দ্য কেস প্রেজেন্টেড অনলি উইথ দ্য ডেফিসিয়েন্সি অফ দ্যাট সিমটমস ফর দ্য ডেফিসিয়েন্সি না এমনভাবে ভাববি বিকজ কোনো যদি ডিজিজ থাকে তো ডিজিজের ক্লাসিক্যাল কিছু সিমটমস মেনশন থাকে ওইখানে যেমন কি উইলসনে দ্যাট ডিস্টোনিয়া ডিজার্থেরিয়া দ্যাট রেস্টিং ট্রেমার্স অ্যান্ড দ্যাট অপথ্যালমোলজিক্যাল ফাইন্ডিংস দ্যাট ইজ ক্লাসিক্যাল ফর দ্য উইলসন্স তো সেম দেয়ার আর সাম সিমটমস ফর ক্লাসিক্যাল ফর মেনকিস তো এমন কিছু মেনশন নেই সো অনলি দ্যাট দ্য পেশেন্ট ইজ ডেফিসিট দ্য লেভেল ইজ ডেফিসিট বাস এমনভাবে ডায়াগনোজ করবি দ্যাট দিস ইজ দ্য কেস দ্যাট এ পজিটিভ পয়েন্ট ফর মেনকিস বাট মেনকিস না কারণ ওটা মেনশন নেই কারণ তখন কী হবে হোয়াট ইজ ইন সাপোর্ট অফ মেনকিস ওটা তো থাকবে না ওখানে এত ক্রিটিক্যাল ভাববি না মাঝে মাঝে তো সিম্পলও হয় হাউ ডাজ কপার ডেফিসিয়েন্সি ইম্প্যাক্ট angiogenesis in wound healing? The copper is crucial for the activity of vascular endothelial growth factor VEGF and angiogenic factors. The copper deficiency impairs the function of tyrosinase, which indirectly affects endothelial cell migration, and copper zinc superoxidase dismutase, leading to increased oxidative stress and poor neovascularization. And why is the patient's history of gastric bypass surgery relevant to copper deficiency? That the gastric bypass surgery can lead to malabsorption of trace elements including copper due to bypassing the duodenum and proximal jejunum, which are the primary sites for copper absorption. The long-term nutritional deficiencies post-bariatric surgery can result in systemic effects such as anemia, neutropenia, and impaired wound healing. The bariatric surgery is the surgery to reduce weight for obesity. So this is called as bariatric surgery, and the surgery done is the bypass surgery. Interesting surgery now. Chemical interactions exist between copper and zinc that may have contributed to this deficiency. The excess zinc intake can induce metallothionein production in enterocytes, which preferentially binds copper over zinc, leading to reduced copper absorption and increased copper excretion. The patient's high normal zinc level suggests a potential competitive interaction leading to worsened copper deficiency. Then how does copper deficiency affect oxidative stress in tissues and its role in wound healing? So how does copper deficiency affect oxidative stress in tissues and its role in wound healing? The copper is a critical cofactor for superoxidase dismutase, an enzyme that neutralizes the reactive oxygen species. The deficiency leads to increased oxidative damage, impaired fibroblast proliferation, and defective extracellular matrix formation, all of which contribute to poor wound healing. Which clinical signs apart from delayed wound healing can suggest copper deficiency? The neurological symptoms, the myelopathy resembling subacute combined degeneration due to defective cytochrome C oxidase in mitochondria, and the hematological changes is normocytic anemia and neutropenia, and the skin and hair changes, hypopigmentation, brittle hair, skin depigmentation due to impaired tyrosinase activity in melanin synthesis. So these are the symptoms for Menkes disease. This brittle hair, the skin, hypopigmentation. If they mention these things, so write at Menkes disease. Then what is the treatment strategy for copper deficiency in this patient? That oral copper supplementation, the copper sulfate or gluconate, and IV copper supplementation in severe cases, and the dietary modifications to include copper rich foods like nuts, shellfish, seeds, whole grains, and monitoring zinc intake to prevent further inhibition of copper absorption. So the neurological symptoms are myelopathy, hematological changes is normocytic anemia with neutropenia, and that skin and hair changes is hypopigmentation, brittle hair and the hypopigmentation of skin. Then the treatment strategy is oral copper and other is IV copper in severe cases, and food intake by the seeds or whole grains, nuts and shellfish, and monitoring zinc intake to prevent the inhibition of copper absorption. How can ceruloplasmin levels help in differentiating copper deficiency from Wilson's disease? In Wilson's disease, ceruloplasmin is low due to genetic defect in copper transport, ATP7B mutation, but the serum copper is elevated due to hepatic copper release. In contrast, in nutritional copper deficiency, both serum copper and ceruloplasmin are low due to inadequate intake or absorption. What research advancements are being explored in the biochemistry of copper in wound healing? The copper nanoparticles for topical wound healing therapy, and the copper peptide based formulations for enhanced collagen synthesis and genetic therapy targeting ATP7A and B transporters to optimize copper delivery at wound site.